You're not unhappy, you're just avoiding life. What if I told you that your happiness has less to do with what happens to you and more to do with what you are willing to experience? If you feel stuck, flat, or numb, even when nothing is wrong on paper, this is probably why. Here is the uncomfortable truth. Unhappiness is not caused by events. Unhappiness is caused by the inability to confront what is. If you cannot face something, you cannot handle it. If you cannot handle it, you cannot change it. And if you cannot change it, it starts shaping your life for you. Happiness depends on one core ability, being able to experience anything, not enjoy everything, not agree with everything, just being able to face whatever is there without shutting down. Hi, I'm Shirley from AXSIOM. One truth understood and applied can change your life. If this work matters to you, subscribe and hit the notifications bell so you stay with the bigger journey. Earlier, we looked at how happiness comes from creating your life. Today, we go one level deeper because you cannot create what you refuse to experience. Let us make this practical. When you can experience something fully, you take back control. You see what is actually there. You stop running. You stop pretending. You start choosing. But when you refuse to experience something, life becomes smaller. Your world shrinks. Your options shrink. Your confidence shrinks. Avoidance is the fastest path to unhappiness. And please hear this clearly. Do not believe this because I am saying it. Test it in your own life. Experience is the only real teacher. I'm not here to be your guru. I'm here to help you see what is true for you. Once you observe it for yourself, you will not need anyone to convince you. Let us look at how this plays out in real life. First example, relationships. Some people say, I will never date again. I'm done with relationships. I cannot go through another heartbreak. So they stay single, not because they want to be, but because they are unwilling to experience the possibility of pain. They think this protects them, but it creates the exact unhappiness they are trying to avoid. Because if you refuse to experience heartbreak, you also refuse to experience love. If you refuse vulnerability, you also refuse connection. If you refuse the possibility of betrayal, you also refuse the possibility of trust. Life closes down exactly where you refuse to experience it. The problem is not heartbreak. The problem is the unwillingness to experience heartbreak. Heartbreak does not destroy your ability to love. Running from it does. Being willing to experience anything does not mean you enjoy pain. It means pain no longer controls you. It means you can enter life fully, knowing you can handle every part of it. Avoiding relationships does not prevent suffering. It prevents living. Another example, starting a business. Someone wants to start their own business. They have ideas, they have talent, they even have the desire, but they refuse to take the first step. Why? Because they are unwilling to experience what might come with it. Failure, judgment, uncertainty, responsibility. So they stay where they are. Not because their dream is impossible, but because they cannot face the experiences required to make it real. And here is the cost. They stay in a job they dislike. They shrink their own potential. They live with constant what if and call it safety. It is not safety, it is avoidance. The unwillingness to experience failure guarantees a life that feels like failure. The unwillingness to experience uncertainty guarantees a life that feels stuck. The unwillingness to experience responsibility guarantees a life that feels powerless. It is not the business that scares them. It is the experiences attached to building it. Here is the truth. When you are willing to experience anything, failure cannot stop you. Judgment cannot define you, and uncertainty cannot freeze you. Creation becomes possible the moment experience becomes possible. Avoiding the experience of building a business does not protect your future. It only prevents you from having one. Here's another example. Difficult conversations. Someone avoids a hard conversation. They do not want to feel discomfort, tension, or the risk of being misunderstood. So they avoid it. What happens? The relationship gets worse. The pressure builds. Resentment appears. They feel less in control, not more, not because the situation was impossible, but because they refused to experience the feelings required to solve it. Here's another example. Let's look at money. A person avoids looking at their finances. They do not want to feel guilt, responsibility, or uncertainty. So the bills pile up and the stress grows. The unhappiness does not come from the money. It comes from refusing to experience the truth of a situation. If you're seeing the pattern, stay with me. This is the turning point. Life becomes harder only when you refuse to experience what is already happening. You gain power the moment you stop resisting the experience. This applies to emotions too. People think happiness means avoiding sadness, fear, or disappointment. But real happiness comes from being able to experience all emotions and still choose your direction. You do not have to like every experience. You just have to be willing to experience it. Because when you can experience anything, nothing controls you. Now let us look at the self-caused side of life. There are things that happen to you, and there are things you create. Both require the same ability to experience what is real instead of hiding from it. If you make a mistake but cannot face embarrassment, you never correct it. If you hurt someone but cannot face guilt, you never fix it. Creation demands experience. If you refuse to feel the effects of your own actions, you stop learning. You stop growing. You stop creating. Here is the deeper truth. Happiness requires reality. Unhappiness grows in avoidance, denial, and resistance. You cannot create a life you refuse to look at. You cannot fix a situation you will not experience. You cannot grow through something you keep running from. So, here is the heart of the lesson. Be willing to experience anything, and you can handle anything. Be unwilling to experience something, and that thing will handle you. If you are getting value from this, tap like so others can find it. Here is your challenge. In the next 24 hours, choose one thing you have been avoiding. A conversation, a task, a truth, a feeling. Do not fix it yet. Just be willing to experience it fully. Notice what comes up. Notice what changes the moment you stop running from it. Watch what happens to your clarity. Watch what happens to your confidence. Watch what happens to your happiness. When you are done, let me know what you noticed or learned. You are far more powerful than your fears. And next, I'm going to show you what happens when people cannot experience you and how that affects happiness. I will see you there.